Hello, I'm Darren Clay, and I'm the sous chef at Open Kitchen here at UBC Vancouver's Orchard Commons residence. And today I am making a West Coast inspired dish based a lot on my trip to the farm. So we have a sockeye salmon with a kale and citrus crust. It's gonna go with some beautiful farro because I love the ancient grain and I love the texture of it. Served with a yogurt drizzle and a nice little salad of some beautiful greens from the farm. We're gonna use some fennel, shaved fennel, and an interesting green that is new to me, and it's called scarlet frill, and I just love the flavor. It's spicy and adds a lot of dimension to the dish. So let's get started. So the first part I'm gonna make is the kale crust, and we have some beautiful green kale here, very hearty, and what I like to do with it is put it in a food processor. So you just strip all of the leaves off. You don't really want the stalk. It's quite woody. And we can throw all of this into a food processor. Now, if you don't have a food processor at home, which is possible, it's okay, because you have something probably that looks a little bit something like this. It's called a knife. So if you have to, you can always gather them all up and chop them as fine as you can. You want to really go to town on them. And you want to get it to the consistency of a really finely chopped parsley, right? You just kind of keep going. I have a little bit of it pre-chopped right here. And to this, we're going to add a little bit of citrus zest. And so we have some beautiful sockeye salmon. And I just want to say, if you don't have access to sockeye salmon, that's fine. First of all, I think it's important that we use a variety of species of salmon, not just sockeye. It's a beautiful species. Pinks are great, Chinooks are great. And if you don't have access to salmon, that's okay. You could use halibut, you could use cod, you could use trout. The idea is just kind of getting a crust on a nice piece of fish. And this is a summertime dish. It's light, it's healthy, and very versatile. So, and it doesn't have to be, we're gonna serve this for the most part at room temperature. So I've got beautiful salmon, lots of nice omega-3 fats in the salmon. And so I wanna kind of counter that. And with that, I have some zest. And the zest is gonna add, it's gonna cut through that fat a little bit. So it's the citrus component. To our chopped kale, we're gonna add some lemon zest. I'm gonna talk a little bit about that. Some orange zest. And you can see the beautiful colors. And to get the zest, if you're not familiar, the zest is this outer part of citrus fruits. Grapefruit, lemons, limes, oranges. And it has a lot of natural oils. So they're really good for you. And they actually have more flavor than the juice. So it's great to use both. Try not to waste. You may have a handy little tool like this, which is a zester. So you can see what it does is as you zest, it just takes off that outer part because the white part is bitter, okay? We don't want bitter. So zest can go in there. Now, if you do not have a zester, fear not, all is not lost. You probably have one of these, a peeler. So you just simply take the peeler, don't put a lot of pressure, you just simply, and you can see there's no white on that because once again, we don't want that part. So you can take that and then you can simply chop it up like so. And you can see it gives you pretty much the exact same product. So to this, I'm going to add just a little bit of extra virgin olive oil, and that's our crust. And then what we're gonna do is we're gonna take, we have some beautiful salmon. We have some salt, most important ingredient in the kitchen. I like to season a little bit up high for two reasons. One, it distributes the salt a little more evenly over the food. And two, it makes you look cool. And that's pretty important. We have this mixture. It's our chopped kale and our citrus zest And we're just simply going to take it and pack it on there, okay? And you can do this on a different container than the one that you're gonna cook it on. So if it does spill off to the side, it's okay. So you got some great colors going on here, but the flavor is what's really important. So we're gonna just repeat that with all the pieces that you're making. So what we're gonna do with this is we're gonna bake this off in an oven, 350, 375. If you have nice fresh fish, you don't need to cook this well done. You can cook this medium to medium well. So at 375, we're talking about 5 to 7 minutes. And it'll give it a chance. Once you take it out of the oven, it continues to cook a little bit more, and it should be nice and ready to go. The next component that we're gonna make is the salad. So we have some beautiful farmed fennel from the UBC Farm. Gorgeous stuff. I like to keep the fronds. They're great for stocks, great for garnishing the plate. You can put them in the salad as well. So we have some nice fennel. And what I did with the fennel is, again, using another one of our favorite tools in the kitchen, which is the mandolin or the slicer. So you can, basically we take the whole piece of fennel, trim off fronds, like so. Like I say, save those. And then ever so carefully, as they warn you, watch your fingers, and you can slice this. You want it to be really thin. And then what I did with the fennel is I soaked it in some cold water. You can do this for about an hour. Overnight is fine. And what you'll end up with is this here. So what it does is it keeps it very crispy and gives you a nice crunch in your salad. So into the salad bowl, we're gonna add some of our nice shaved UBC Farm fennel. Now, when you taste this fennel, if you have the opportunity to go to the farmer's market at UBC Farm, Tuesday afternoons, Saturdays, it has such great flavor. It has that licorice, anise type flavor, and that's gonna go well with the salmon as well. And then we have our scarlet frill. This has a very spicy kind of flavor. So if you don't have access to this, arugula would be great. Mustard greens would be great. So then it kind of ties in. We get the fattiness, we get the citrus, we get the spicy. You can see where all these flavors are gonna come together and kind of balance each other out to give us some nice complexity. So with the scarlet frill, I'm just gonna give it a rough chop, like so, into the bowl. So I really like kind of minimal flavors. I want people to be able to taste each component. So I don't want to overcomplicate this. And we're gonna make a vinaigrette for this. So a vinaigrette is a dressing, and generally the ratio is 1 part vinegar to 2 parts oil. Some people say 3 parts oil. I like my vinaigrettes a little bit more tart. I like the acidity, so I go 2 to 1, but just play around with it. Which vinegar you use is totally up to you. Today I'm using apple cider vinegar, and we have some olive oil that we're gonna use, a little bit of honey, and then that's it. We can even use from the zested orange, some of that fresh juice, okay? So all of those flavors, once again, gonna kind of tie back together. And I've got a little bit of it here. You can make this in a mason jar, easy to shake to dissolve all that honey. Leave it in your fridge. It'll keep, because of the vinegar, it'll keep for weeks, okay? And keep nice and fresh. So it goes. You don't want to add too much vinaigrette. You want just enough to coat the leaves of the salad. So there shouldn't be a big pool of vinaigrette left in your bowl after you're finished. And once again, because it's such an important ingredient, I like just a pinch of salt in my salads. I know it's crazy, but lots of French chefs that I worked with, they kind of taught me that, seasoning your salad, you want to season every component. So we have our salmon baking in the oven, we have our salad, Next, I want to talk about the grain, and this is farro. This is a very popular grain. It's an ancient grain. It's been around a long time. Very healthy, high in iron, high in protein, and it has a beautiful chew to it. If you can't get your hands on farro, it's okay. You could use lentils. You could use brown rice. You could use quinoa. As far as cooking farro is concerned, it's actually really easy. Some things that you have to cook, such as rice and quinoa, it's a ratio of grains to water. And you know, chefs, we kind of geek out on that stuff and we measure everything and it's important. But with farro, what's nice about it is it's similar to cooking pasta. So the only part you really have to pay attention to is the cooking time. You can just get a big pot of water. You can put salt in it, and that's really important. And then you put your farro in and you simmer it for around 30 minutes. And you can taste it throughout for the chewiness. So the last component is just a yogurt drizzle, something a little bit cooling on the plate. It's summertime. I love incorporating yogurt into dishes. So it's kind of like the sauce, if you will. And once again, it just makes it easy because you can have all of this stuff ready. You don't have to worry about it all being hot and trying to plate it all when it's all hot. So with this, we just took some good Greek yogurt, a little bit of the UBC Dill, which we chopped up, and we mixed it together. If it's too thick, you can thin it out with just a little bit of water. All right, we're ready to plate up. I'm gonna get all chefy on you and try to make it as fancy as possible, but don't worry about it at home. If you don't have squeeze bottles, you can use spoons, you can smear the sauces on the plate, or you can just put it down and enjoy it. That's really the most important part. So we've got our dill yogurt drizzle, which once again is our sauce. I'm gonna start with this. So when I'm plating, I like to think about all the different shapes. We've got a rectangular plate. I like some ovals in here. We've got our nice farro, which I'm gonna put on the plate. You could turn this into a bowl if you wanted to as well. Doesn't have to go on a plate. Salad bowls are very popular. We have our salmon. It's rested, it's out of the oven. You can see the crust, looks great. Okay, just gonna put it on there. And then we have our salad, our scarlet frill, shaved fennel with the orange vinaigrette. And once again, I like to get a little bit of height. And that's our dish. Kale and citrus crusted sockeye salmon, a little bit of cooked farro, and a fennel and scarlet frill salad with an orange vinaigrette, and our dill and yogurt drizzle. Really healthy, really fresh, great for the summertime, and I hope that you'll make it. The recipe is available online, so thank you very much. Enjoy.